So back in the shop today. Got some stuff to do to my personal car, Alpha, the race car. Just having some clutch issues here, not really lately, ever since I put the 4-speed in. So today it's a throwout bearing, so I'm gonna try and sort out the throwout bearing itself, figure out a way to prevent it from working its way sideways a little bit. And so basically the problem is most LS clutches have a flat surfaced throwout bearing. And on this throwout bearing that I have that came with the transmission when I bought it is a beveled edge. So whenever it's pushing on the clutch over a couple times, after a little while, it'll kind of kink itself to where it's not fully disengaging the clutch. So today I'm going to try and find preferably a bearing that can just replace the bearing that's on there, that's flat surface instead of beveled, and go from there. If I can't, then I'll have to resort to other things or buying a completely new bearing. But the slave cylinder works, it's great, it's lightweight, it fits perfectly. So hopefully I don't have to buy a whole new one, because that would just, it's more money, and I'm already invested to this point where more money's more money. So, needless to say, we're gonna get in and work on this bad boy. I've got some stuff to do in order to get the transmission out. I gotta take the shifter stick out, drive shaft, a bunch of other stuff. I've already disconnected the wideband. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put this down and jump to it. Okay, after fighting for, I don't know, feels like forever. It's a little bit difficult when you're doing it by yourself. I got the throwout bearing out, and I'll show you what I was talking about earlier. So here you can see this edge right here, it's rounded right in here, and it's supposed to be flat all the way across. And that's what you need for the LS throwout bearings. You can see it's beveled like that. We've got the right distance and everything. It's just that beveled edge is actually, I'm actually going to show you. I'll show you where it's supposed to sit. Get down here. I really need to get a lift. You can see here where it's actually been riding. See these fingers, they come up and then back in. They're supposed to be, it's supposed to be a flat bearing, so no matter where it touches, it's gonna get all these fingers and push in. With this beveled edge, like this, what it's doing is, since there's just a slightest amount of play in between the input shaft and the bearing itself, it's working itself to where it's going from here to in this inner side, and then it's like kinking itself. So when it does that, it doesn't allow me to shift into gears very easily. And that's with, I'm sitting still trying to go into first, trying to go to reverse, or even when I'm driving. It will go into second when I, slam it, but you don't want to keep doing that over and over and over and over again. So today I'm going to go ahead and run to town, see if I can find a bearing that will actually fit this. But first, I need to pop this sleeve out, this piston and bearing out, and measure it. And then we can go to town and find a bearing, hopefully. If not, I'll have to special order one, if I can find one. If not, figure out something from there. Weld on a washer or just order another throwout bearing, since I do have some performance goals in mind for next season, since next season is going to be a Pro-Am competition kind of year. I need more power. So when I add more power in a couple videos coming up, I'll need a better clutch, and at that point, I might as well upgrade the throwout bearing while I'm at it. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and try and get this to work. So right now, go get in the car, head to town, and see what I can find. All right, I'm back from town. Found a bearing at O'Reilly's, everything measured out correctly. It's like less than a millimeter smaller width, so it should be perfectly fine. I had to order it, won't be here till tomorrow. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and press this old bearing off the piston. So we've got this big old fancy press here. It's pretty much just a leverage press. And basically, I got a socket that fits that piston like perfect. Or did go up a little bit. There. And then get that on there, and just like so. Well, it did work. There we go. All right. And just like so, bearing is off the sleeve. And then this bearing, yeah, it can just be saved or used for something else another day. But as of today, that's all I can do on the race car. So I'll get back with you in a couple days and try to make this all done in one video instead of posting several different ones. I got a few other things I need to do around here and now, but till then, yeah, get back to you in a couple days. All right, we're back. It's a couple days later now. I did get a bearing to replace this old bearing. So this one, as you can see, has got that beveled edge. This one is, I mean, relatively flat. But unfortunately, with this new bearing, housing bearing doesn't go in. It's about 1 millimeter too big. I have done extensive amounts of research. I cannot find another bearing that is less than 63 millimeters wide. This one's 63.8. It needs to be around 62.5 to go inside of that housing. They don't make one that's 40 millimeter inside diameter and 62 outer. So instead of going ahead and buying a new throwout bearing, because I've only got 3 weeks till fall double down, and I've got to buy 6 tires next week and pay for registration, all that kind of stuff this week, there's no way I can swing a new throwout bearing. So in order to solve my problem, at least temporarily, I have old bearing, rounded edge, meets flat washer, flat edge. So what I'm going to do, it's got more than enough surface area once it's like that. So, got to heat it up a little bit, very gently. Don't want to fry any grease that may be on the inside of the bearing. And I'm going to tack weld this flat washer all the way around, very slowly, just like you would do sheet metal, one side and the other side, and then crisscross. Just keep doing that until it's on there permanently. It shouldn't have any effect. I mean, it's just going to be sandwiched between the bearing and the pressure plate anyway. I mean, even if it were to come off, it's just going to rotate. So, shouldn't be an issue, at least temporarily. I need to get that car done today and get everything back together today so that I can drive it over the next couple weeks and make sure that it's going to work. If not, then, I don't know, sell a kidney or something. But I'm going to go ahead and get this bearing pressed back onto that old sleeve and then get to welding. And just like that, our rounded surface bearing is now flat. Will it work? I don't know. We will see. But I do know it will go down in there. So let's get that put together. All right, done. Got everything back in, the transmission's back in, the clutch is in. I had to remeasure the clearance and all that stuff. bled the clutch, and put the drive shaft in, filled up with fluid, plugged all the wires back up, and I actually got to bring this wire back up here so that it doesn't burn on the header. Alright, now it's time to get in and make sure this stuff actually works. First, gotta do one more thing. Okay, how to put the shifter stick back in. Yeah, I think I've got a really strong pedal. So let's go ahead and start this thing up after I turn the electronics back on. One more time. Here we go. In neutral, start up. Well, it didn't work. In gear, ignition. Well, that was a failure. Don't know what's going on. Try rebleeding the clutch. See if it has anything to do with it, but honestly feels like I got a good clutch. If I over shimmed it, which I added an extra shim technically with the washer, it would be grabbing less. There's no reason for it to grab more right now, so gotta figure that out and then get back to you. And we're back a couple days later. Or, yeah, it's about a week now, actually. We had a few issues with that throwout bearing, as you saw. It's not going to work. So, I ordered another one that's flat surfaced. I finally got it in, got everything, and I'm putting it all together today. Transmission's already out. Let me show you what I got going on here. All right. So, this one right here, the old throwout bearing. You can see I welded that on there, and it worked. It did not work, actually. It did not, for whatever reason, release the pressure plate. So I went and bought this new, same brand, Quartermaster, but it's a flat surface bearing all the way around. This goes inside the pressure plate. This pushes out once it's all there. I went ahead, got all the shims ready, made a new thing for this because the one that was supplied with it did not thread into the housing of the transmission. And I've got snacks, but all of this stuff is now ready. I've already measured it. It's 3 5/16. It's exact where it's supposed to be in order to press the pressure plate. So now I just need to get this big thing back into the car and see if it works. Wish me luck. Okay, that's done. It's actually, wow, a couple days later now. That stuff didn't go so well that day. But I got it sorted out. Got everything measured properly. There was a piston. The piston was leaking because it didn't have an O-ring on the inside. Why? Being a brand new throwout bearing? I have no idea. Luckily, I had to throw an O-ring, put in there. Got everything bled. The lines were hitting the pressure plate a little bit, so had to put a clutch stop in. And now everything's good. It seems to be working right now. I do have to put the diff back in. I took it out because I am doing a 3.9 diff, which this is my old diff right here. It's a Q45 3.54. It works great. It's just my low end really sucks. So I'm switching over to this. I was told it was a Q45 with a 3.9 in it, but it's not. It is actually a Z32 diff with a 3.9, which is fine. It should pick up a little bit more. So with that being said, I'm going to finish getting this diff back in, see if it works. Wish me luck. Okay, it's done. Time to see if it works.